Hello, friends, and welcome to Coach Cuts Corner. Streaming bright from Michigan's capital city, this podcast is dedicated to helping you better understand the who, the what, and the why of mental performance, personal growth, and Lansing Stars baseball. Coach Cuts Corner, brought to you by Eyewash.
In collaboration with Lansing Community College.
And now here's your host, Stephen Cutter.
Welcome back to Coach Cuts Corner. Today I'm joined in studio by Stars baseball coach Mo and guest Stars baseball player Brek Baranoski. Today we're covering Brek's journey and what it's like playing college baseball in the capital city of Lansing. How you doing this morning, Brek?
Good, Coach. How are you?
Pretty well. Are you prepared for this podcast? Have you been on one before?
Haven't been on one, but I've watched many, listened to many, so I'm kind of excited.
Excellent. Coach Mo, how's your morning going?
Great morning so far. How about you?
My morning's been pretty excellent. Been pulled in a lot of different directions, but that's not super uncommon for any other morning that I have. And I'm just happy to be in studio right now with you guys. Brek, did you play multiple sports when you were growing up?
I did. Not only myself, but my sister and my family, having everyone around me play multiple sports, kind of grew on me. In many factors. So
what'd you play?
Played baseball. I played soccer. Played a little bit of wrestling. A little bit of basketball in there as well.
Okay. What else besides baseball were you good at?
I would have to say basketball.
Really?
Wasn't the best shooter.
How tall are you?
Well, right now I'm pushing 6'1",
okay.
but I was a late bloomer, but I was pretty good on defense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you're from Illinois, right?
Yeah. So definitely a good basketball state for sure.
Not as good as Indiana.
It's up for debate.
So in middle school, were you still playing all those sports?
It slimmed down a little bit. I kind of realized slowly where my talents still were. So I slimmed down from soccer. Kind of didn't realize that maybe it kind of wasn't my speed. So it was more in middle school, baseball, wrestling, and a little bit of basketball.
Okay, very, very interesting. And then what about at high school?
In high school, switched up a little bit, slimmed down even more. So my freshman, sophomore year of high school, played both baseball and football, and kind of realizing the importance of baseball and the recruiting game and all that. I really needed to step it up and focus on baseball, and I didn't want to risk injury in football.
And what high school did you go to?
I went to Joliet Catholic Academy.
Okay, and what was that like?
It was really interesting. Just a very great athletic overall school. They lead Illinois in state championships in football, and I think they're up there as well in baseball. I know my year we won one as well, and then this following year the 23s got it done with a back-to-back. So no, it was really good. Just met a lot of quality people over there, and just obviously it's a Catholic school, so learned, and not only academically but through my faith in Jesus.
Nice, very cool. What do you remember about Little League? What sticks out? I know, when I was thinking about that as you were talking about playing multiple sports, I have things that stand out when I played Little League baseball, and it's not so much, I couldn't tell you what our records were, things like that, but I do remember very significant things. I do remember winning different things. I remember having a lot of success. I also have a picture at some point where I had jeans on. I don't know why, but I was wearing jeans, in my team picture. So yeah, there's some things that stand out. What do you remember about Little League?
I would say without a doubt, what comes to mind first is the Bosco Sticks at the concession stand where I was growing up. Yeah, the Troy Titans. It's just the concession stands was probably the favorite part as soon as I'd get to the field, let alone. But besides the food aspect there, I remember, especially in Mustang and Pinto Ball, those pitching machines, and being so happy when I got to face those, just because I kind of knew what was coming.
Okay.
And hit a lot of homers then, and I always missed those home run derbies that we used to have in those leagues because it was always so fun and competitive.
Gotcha. Mo, what do you remember about Little League?
Yeah, I think one of my main things is I remember that the first team I played on, they misordered the jerseys. So
nice.
we had probably about 12 kids on the team, and 6 of us were wearing red jerseys, and the other 6 were wearing blue. So our team was actually called because I was from Wisconsin, and they, you've heard of Kimberly Paper Company.
Yeah.
We played in Kimberly, so the red team, I was on the red. My jersey was red, so it would say Paper Makers. That was the name. And then the blue team was sponsored by the local police academy, so it was called they were the Cops. So our team just became the Paper Maker Cops. That was a heck of a name. Yeah. And another thing, my dad always used to tell me that in baseball, because you have to throw, your jersey should be loose. So he'd always order me a jersey that was like 3 or 4 sizes too big, and I just look ridiculous, just absolutely terrible in every single photo.
Well, Brek, you've got a pretty good arm, but your jerseys aren't very loose.
No, and
does that affect your throwing? Do you feel like?
Well, not really, because I mean, you've probably seen it in practice. I tend to roll my sleeves up a little bit. Not a big fan of loose jerseys. I always like my stuff fitted.
They used to do that like in the 50s or 60s, and they put their smokes in there, and just keep them in there.
Yeah. No, I think just as kind of maybe as far as like maybe a speed factor in there as a baseball player, kind of having more things that are fitted to me.
Okay.
I don't like necessarily things being loose, especially like my cleats and stuff like that, because it'll affect my feet and stuff.
Right. Well,
maybe you should move up to a 4X jersey and then see if that arm gets better.
Right. I think it's worth a shot, but you don't see sprinters wearing loose clothing, so there's something to it. Brek, why do you think baseball coaches have to wear baseball pants during games? You don't see football coaches wearing football pants?
No, it's a good question, because throughout my lifetime of playing baseball, I've seen it in both, where we have even coaches here at Lansing who wear t-shirt and shorts, and we'll even I've seen guys where their coaches will wear those baseball pants. I think it's more of a traditional thing. Maybe coaches not really able to maybe move on from maybe some old school type things. I think.
Yeah, we were just talking about that the other day, and it's unique because you don't see basketball coaches wearing basketball shorts, which would seem to fit, but they don't wear them, and so baseball is one of those sports where you wear what your players have, and a lot of times you'll see coaches in full jersey too,
Yeah. Well, I mean, you'll obviously see that in the pros and stuff like that. That's just obviously the rules nowadays, but in my opinion, I don't think those coaches are coming in the game anytime soon.
Yeah, and I think you see a lot more sweatshirts and coaching jackets and stuff at the pro level too. What kind of influence has your dad been on you? And your family's got a little bit of pro ball lineage, so if you want to talk about impact with your father, and then maybe just a little bit about family lineage too.
Right. So my dad played ball at Joliet Catholic as well. So just that influence alone, started throughout high school.
Did he win a state championship?
He did not know, but his team was always known as the.
So you've got you've got one on them, the Big Chokers.
Yeah, because they were always undefeated, and then the last game, I think they couldn't get it done. So even in football,
little too much complacency. Huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Okay.
But he went on to Missouri Southern, and it was a Hall of Famer there in 2018, and had the home run record until this year, until guy in his fifth year broke it, which I don't consider broken. He took that fifth year to do it. Okay. So, but without a doubt, he had that lenience on me to play baseball, and kind of even now he'll still play baseball in like an old man league. So it's always funny if I have time to get out there and watch him play a little bit. And
so
even when
similar to what happens here in Lansing, he's playing in one as well.
Exactly, yeah.
Nice.
And even when I'm home, he still wants to throw me BP and still wants to play catch. So he's without a doubt definitely started me at a young age through my competitiveness in the baseball world.
And he was drafted?
Yeah, he got drafted right after Missouri Southern. I believe he was actually through free agency. Catcher for the Atlanta Braves organization, playing minors for a little bit. I believe he got hurt there in the spring training there for the pros. From my understanding, they had clay on their field there, and I think he had a home run, and I believe he was either rounding second base or in the batter's box. His foot caught that clay dug in a little bit too much, and just absolutely tore up his leg. And unfortunately, that was it.
Incredible story. Now, what about your great grandpa? I was doing a little bit of digging. So
Yeah.
tell me about him.
So my family's obviously Polish, and my grandmother's side, her father got drafted to the White Sox. He was a pitcher. However, his father told them that he wasn't allowed to, for reasons I still question why. I have no clue, but he wanted him to go be like a soldier in the army and stuff like that, and be a hard worker. So it was really upsetting for him now, and I couldn't imagine if that happened to me.
Coach Mo is a big White Sox fan. Did you know that, Coach Mo?
I missed that one in the history books, but it's a good story. I'll make sure they add it back in. That's cool.
So after winning a lot at the high school level, you went on to college. What's your college journey been like? Obviously, you're here at Lansing now, but that's not where you started. So you want to talk a little bit about how your college journey's been?
Right. So, first and foremost, through 2020 in the transfer portal, it was just a crazy time for, not only myself, but the guys around me. The questions of not only where am I going to play or what division I'm going to play at. So during that time, I knew I was going to go to the junior college level just because I saw guys were getting eligibility back and guys were allowed to transfer, so I thought that was the best decision for me. So the previous school I was at, another junior college, obviously coming in, I knew it wasn't going to be the best kind of situations just because of, reviews and stuff like that of players that played there before and kind of what I saw coming in. So I knew I was already going to have my hands full with, what I needed to do when I headed in there and what I kind of had to expect out of myself. And it was more of a confidence thing in myself and to not really question much and not really hesitate, just do and, do whatever it takes to go to the next level.
And at what point did you realize that wasn't going to be a good fit for you?
I would say a little bit later, there in the fall season of this past year, kind of how the fall was going. The recruiting wasn't really that great, and the coaching staff kind of wasn't seeing eye to eye on things, and kind of wasn't.
It happens. Yeah.
It wasn't relaying things to the team that well, and it kind of as far as like a training aspect of things as well, it just wasn't going to be a place where I can really grow that much.
We talk a lot about our belief systems and our mindsets here at Lansing, and I think when people struggle, if they can be self-aware of it enough, they start looking at where their belief systems are, and typically they're pretty low at those times. And could you relate to that at all?
Oh yeah, without a doubt in my mind, I took a hit in that sense as well, just because I've had teammates and friends who've played at the Division I level, and even those rival schools like Parkland and Heartland and stuff like that, and kind of seeing them thrive and stuff like that, and then me kind of, I don't want to say maybe in the shadows but it maybe at definitely a low point definitely in my baseball career.
Pressure is a privilege, but I'm assuming you've had a fair amount of pressure on you since you've gotten out of high school, just with that comparison, which can be the thief of joy, certainly. But comparison is, we spend a lot of time looking at different things. How'd you find Lansing?
So the summer after I graduated at Joy Catholic, my 18U season, played for the D-backs here in Michigan.
Were you good?
I would say during that time, I was pretty good there.
Okay.
I was playing.
Belief system pretty high?
Yeah, at that time, yes. Yes. I was playing loose, playing fun. I was playing, like I said, for the D-backs, and we had a game against a team out here in Michigan called USA Prime.
Okay.
I believe we were playing at West Bloomfield, and it was a great game. And I believe Coach Mo and I think Helmick were there as well.
We were indeed.
Checking out some of the already Lansing recruits. I just happened to possibly pop up on the radar, and I believe one of my buddies here at Lansing, Matthew Fountain, who was on that team, kind of told me a couple weeks after the game, FYI, Coach Mo was asking about you, thinking if you had any interest in coming out here, and sure enough, here I am now.
What's your experience been like since you've gotten here? There was a lot thrown at you early. You had a couple college experiences already, so it wasn't like you were, fresh out of high school, and with those kind of eyes, your eyes had been seasoned a little bit, but then you come in and there was a lot going on, housing, there was a lot of things that happened early, and now we're, about 7-8 weeks in. What's your experience been like here?
So far, well, now it's been great, but those first couple weeks was without a doubt a struggle. Kind of mentally questioning myself there, just because of like I said, not being able to move in yet to my room and having practice, 6 out of the 7 days a week. And
where were you staying at?
I was in between staying in a hotel and crashing on the couches there in the apartment, so I wasn't able to really bring everything around me. But the mental aspect, I think, definitely was the biggest thing. I was on the phone there with Mo before we started. I was asking him about it and stuff like that in detail, and I kind of didn't really realize what it was until I actually got here. And even now, just seeing myself actually change within a couple of weeks is pretty mind-boggling.
Yeah, and that's what development looks like. And a lot of people have said that baseball specifically is a sport that's 90% mental and 10% physical. And I'm not sure where those numbers actually lie, but I am certain that a large piece of anything that you do is based on your belief system and how you feel about yourself and what you think is possible. And you will attract really positive things. That doesn't mean it's always going to be sunny and 75. It doesn't mean that you're always going to have success. But what it does mean is you're going to have a lot of truth in what you're doing, and through those processes, you'll find a lot more happiness. You'll find that you're more relaxed. We met as a team, I think it was yesterday, and we were just talking about our last scrimmages that we had, and we try to recap those, maybe a day or two after we've had those, and talk about those a little bit. And you'd mentioned something about your mental processes and what you had done and how it equated to the success that you had. Do you want to touch on that?
Yeah. So coming into the fall, especially our first Mid-Michigan scrimmage, I did not play well just because my mental performance at that point was really out the door. I wasn't thinking, I wasn't going back to what I wrote down, all those meetings that we had as a team, especially the 617 breathing. I just kind of went out there and realized, here I am, let's go, and not realizing that I actually sped up the game a little bit too fast on myself. So at that post game, I kind of realized what I really needed to do, and so I really took a step back, focused not only on only on my breathing, but kind of going back to those notes that we did in mental, and slowly just look at those before games and take pictures of maybe some things that kind of stood out to me, and then as well as finding some tunes and some podcasts that fit me as far as calmness and making sure I was locked in before the game.
Right. And how much do you think that impacts you when you play?
It's astronomical. It's huge. It's not only my confidence, but the level of kind of where I play my game, if that makes sense. Where my aggressiveness, everything would be there. There was no hesitation. These past couple of weeks, it was more let's get it on. I'm not afraid. I got my guys behind me. I'm ready to roll.
How much has fear of failure affected you in baseball?
It has tremendously. I know even Coach Cut has you've even mentioned before, the baseball gods will kind of give you a scare. If you don't want the ball will find you. And that's kind of something that's definitely stood out to me. With any and all hesitation, there will be a play your way. So, at the end of the day, if there was any kind of low self-esteem, low confidence moment in baseball, not only myself but through my teammates, you can kind of see it, and it'll kind of eat you alive a little bit.
For sure. Final question: Why is it different here? We use the word uncommon a lot, but we'll sit on here and we'll talk about it. We won't necessarily hit all on it at one time, but we'll talk about what makes it different here. And having a fresh perspective like yours, where you've been around a little bit and you're starting to see the tip of the iceberg just a little bit, and you're getting better, and your belief system's improving, and the fun factors going up. But why is it different here?
I would say first and foremost, I think the mental aspect of the game. I've never seen not only coaching staff, but a team that focuses so much on that part of the game. I know it's always talked about everywhere, but I don't see anyone ever doing it. So the fact that we kind of do this on a day-to-day basis is phenomenal. I think it's definitely changed my way of thinking, even when I go out and step across those white lines. And I would also have to say, as far as competitiveness, when we started out, I didn't know what to think about, fighting, competing for a spot. You've had programs where, all they want you to do is, kind of maybe treat each other's teammates, like crap and just go out there and play. But here it's more like a family, and you're pushing yourself. Each and every one of your, one of your guys is pushing you to be the best that you can be. It's not really about, going out there, and necessarily, taking the guy's job, but it's more about what can you do and what can you bring to the team, and what's 100% look like for you. And without a doubt, once I realized that, I can go even farther more in this game.
Good stuff. Appreciate it. Until next time, thank you to all of our listeners and Coach Mo and Brek for joining me today in the WLNZ studios. Go Stars. Coach Cut's Corner is recorded live in the WLNZ studios. Engineering and production assistance are provided by Dedalian Lowry. Thanks for listening. And if you enjoyed today's podcast, please share it and follow us on all the platforms of social media. You can find more about our program at lccstars.com, and donations to our baseball program can be made at the same site. See you next time.